I was only 8 years old when I first began noticing something strange about the old house my grandparents lived in. It was a tall, wooden home with creaky floors and narrow hallways that always seemed darker than they should have been, even during the day. Every summer, my parents would take me there, and while the adults chatted endlessly in the kitchen, I would wander around the house, exploring. But there was one part of the house that I never liked passing by: the upstairs guest room. The door was always closed, and unlike the other doors in the house, it had a habit of rattling late at night, as though someone was trying to open it from the inside. When I asked my grandmother about it, she would simply smile too quickly and say, "It's just the wind, dear." But what unsettled me was how she avoided eye contact whenever I asked. Even at that age, I could sense that her answer wasn't the truth. One night, when I woke up for a glass of water, I heard a soft humming sound coming from behind that door. It wasn't the sound of the wind. It was slow, tuneless, and childlike, as if someone was humming a lullaby, but just a little out of rhythm, as though whoever was doing it had forgotten how the melody was supposed to go. My small feet froze on the hallway carpet, my hands still clutching the banister. The longer I listened, the colder the air around me felt, and the more I realized that I wasn't supposed to be hearing that sound at all. That I stood frozen in the hallway that night, every instinct telling me to run back to my bed, but my curiosity, childlike and stubborn, kept me rooted in place. The humming from behind the guest room door grew clearer, rising and falling in uneven tones, like someone trying to remember a song from long ago. The longer I listened, the more I noticed that the humming wasn't coming from deep within the room, but from just behind the door itself, as if the source was standing only inches away from me on the other side. I pressed my hand against the wooden frame, half expecting it to be warm from the presence of whoever or whatever was there, but it was icy cold, so cold that it made my fingertips tingle. That should have been enough to send me running, but something about the sound fascinated me. It was soft, strangely inviting, like it wanted me to listen longer. That I leaned closer, my ear almost against the door, when the humming suddenly stopped. The silence that followed was so heavy that I could hear my own pulse pounding in my head. Then, with no warning, the doorknob turned slowly, so slowly that I could hear the faint metallic click of its inner mechanism shifting. I gasped and stumbled back, watching in disbelief as the knob quivered but did not fully open. My small shadow stretched across the hall in the dim, night-like glow, and I remember feeling as though the very air was waiting to see what I would do next. For a long moment, I stood in shock, staring, afraid that the door would swing